Hello, fellow Inner Pilgrims. On Sunday, the 29th of March, I turned 42 years old, so I celebrated my birthday in lockdown here in the UK, and I have been thinking for quite a couple of days already how I wanted to kind of give something back to all of you as a gift for my birthday. I really enjoy doing that every year, but this year it felt particularly difficult because I don't know about you, but it can be so tricky for something like that not to feel as if it is making some kind of commercial gain out of this whole coronavirus situation. So I found it quite difficult to come up with something that felt pure. But when I was talking with a friend of mine, I realized that one of the things that I am reflecting on a lot about this whole Covid-19 situation might be actually very beneficial to share that with you. So there are two things that keep on popping back up inside of my mind, and how applicable it is to you will depend where you are in the change curve. You might have had a moment to look at that blog that I wrote last week, and if you haven't yet, please do. It's about all the phases that we go through when we are confronted with change, and depending on where we are in that curve, if we are still in shock or denial, or if we are in bargaining, depression or anger, or if we have already come to a place of acceptance, depending on where you are or where your loved ones are, this message of mine will be more or less beneficial for you. But the two things that keep on popping back up for me is that I feel that we are all invited to look at our demons, to really face our demons, and they come in so many different shapes or forms. So my invitation for you would be to really reflect on what it is that comes to the foreground for you right now that is very unpleasant. Financial fears, relationships that you are questioning, the dynamic with the children, your own anger, your own relationship with death and loss. You know, what might it be? Your career, the amount of meaning that you are experiencing in your life. Like, we all have something that has been lurking in the background, and I feel that this situation is kind of really putting it into our face. So what is it that you are invited to look at? And the second thing that keeps on popping up for me is this idea of not wanting to regret this whole phase after it has finished, because no matter how incredibly difficult it is right now, impermanence is an absolute certainty. The fact that this too will change is the only thing we know for sure. At some point things will shift again, and then we look back and we think, oh my gosh, it was actually quite a special opportunity, this universal pause, and I know that that doesn't apply for everyone, because in certain professions, of course, all of a sudden we are more busy than ever. Also, when we're homeschooling children, we have less time for ourselves than we've ever had. So what do you mean universal pause? But no matter your situation, how can you make sure that once this has changed again, you are not regretting how you've used it? So that is my second invitation for you. How to make this time meaningful, how to make it count, how to make sure that one day when you look back at it, you think, yes, I really used that to the best of my ability. I made it beneficial and meaningful. So those are the things that I am thinking about a lot in relationship to my own life and my own demons and my own ways to make this time purposeful. So I hope that these two reflections can be meaningful and useful for you too. And then that is my birthday gift for you this year. Take good care of yourself and of your loved ones. Stay healthy and be well. And I wish you lots of love, as always. Take good care of yourself.